Hey there, welcome to the Kat Scrappiness channel. This is April here to bring you a fun project using some wonderful Kat Scrappiness products. But before I get started with my project, let me share with you my top 5 items from Kat Scrappiness. Our creative crew is doing a 2022 holiday gift guide, so make sure you check out the other creative crew's gift guides as well. So for my top 5, I'm going to start with the A2 Reverse Scallop die set. This is a frame die set. I don't believe you can have too many frame dies in your stash. And then we have the A2 Quilted Backdrop. I love backdrops. They make beautiful panels. They make background panels super quick, super easy. And this Quilted Backdrop die is simply stunning. Next up, I have the Nesting Fishtail banner set. These little banners make great tags. They make beautiful gift card holders, and you can also stack them up and layer them on the front of a card. Next is the uppercase condensed alphas. I think alphas are a staple for your crafting. You can make your own sentiments and you can personalize cards with them. And this one is beautiful. And then last but not least is the little powerhouse reverse tweezers. I think everyone should have 2 or 3 pairs of these for all your little crafting needs, and you will see that I use those later today. So we're going to start with this beautiful card using the A2 Heart Sunburst backdrop die. I told you I love backdrop dies, and this one is beautiful and is perfect for a see-through card, which we're going to make today. We're also going to use the Get Well Soon with shadow die, and then the Sparkling Snow Pearl Mix. I am an embellishment junkie, and I think everyone should have these. These are a beautiful white pearl mix. So we're starting with a piece of acetate. I have cut this down to 11 inches by 4 1/4. I have scored it at 5 1/2. I'm going to use my bone folder to take that score line and make it nice and crisp. The acetate's a little slick, so it takes a little bit making sure that I have everything right in place. So when I'm using my bone folder, I'm going right over that score line that I put on it. So see how nice that and crisp that is? Gonna set that aside. Don't need that right at this moment, but we're gonna start next with our A2 Heart Sunburst backdrop die. So this is an A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm putting an A2 panel of heavyweight cardstock on there using some low tack tape, and I'm going to tape that right into place. And it's a tight fit. If you use a bigger piece of paper, you don't have to do all this. But I just have a drawer full of A2 panels pre-cut. Taking it over, running it through my die cut machine, bringing it back on that panel because that's important. I need to keep all those pieces together. I'm grabbing a silicone mat to do some ink blending on, and this mat just has a little bit of a stick to it, so it just holds my die in place while I'm ink blending. I'm grabbing some oxides to blend with today. Some spun sugar, some Kitsch Flamingo, and some picked raspberry are my choices. I happen to adore pink, so I went with pink, but this could be ink blended in lots of colors. So you can see here I'm very carefully removing that die cut plate so that everything stays into place. Very carefully gonna flip it over, lift up that backdrop die, and the pieces come out and are all right in place. So when I'm ink blending, I am going to ink blend from the lightest on the outside to the darkest in the center over that heart. And I am going to ink blend with a light hand. I'm going to choose to build my color up instead of try to put it all down at one time. And I'm doing that so that the little inside pieces don't pop out. Now I'm not using them today, but why waste them? So I'm going to ink blend them all, and I'll show you what I do with those here in a bit. So while I'm ink blending, let me tell you, I keep all of my backdrop dies in a bin on my work surface right to my right. In that bin, I have my backdrop dies, I have my alpha dies, I have all my frame dies. I have all my word dies. I also have all my sentiment stamp sets. I keep all those things that I tend to use on cards frequently handy. This way I'm not having to go to my closet where I keep all my other products, dig through and try to find it. It's right here. I have everything categorized. I can just quickly grab a backdrop die, you know, flipping through them really fast, seeing what I have, grabbing one. My alphabet sets, they're right there as well. My word dies, what am I looking for? I have all my word dies separated, you know, by all my thanks, all my get well soons. I have them all separated like that. So they're super easy to find. And it just helps cut down on looking around time in my craft room when I am creating something. So here I am finishing up the blending of my backdrop die, and you just kind of go back and forth to get a good blend. I love ink blending. I find it very relaxing. I know that's weird, but I love just making those colors melt together and look so great. I want to tell you, there are several color combinations that you could do for this. One being blue, one being green, maybe a mixture of blue and green, and this could totally be a card for a guy. So always looking for masculine ideas. And even though this has a heart on it, it'd be great to put a little I love you on it, a happy birthday, perfect for a male in your life. So got everything all cleaned up, tucked away, and now we're going to start assembling. But wait, I don't want the adhesive to show on when you open up that see-through card. So I need another panel. So I just went and cut another white panel out of that A2 Heart Sunburst backdrop die, just in some 80-pound cardstock, and you'll see how I hide that adhesive here in a minute. Don't need these negative pieces, so I'm just going to take them and put them in a pile off to the side because we do not want to waste those. These are perfect for the inlaid technique, and I'll show you how I did that in just a second to have a card ready for any occasion. So putting those pieces aside, and then I'm going to grab my acetate card base, and we're going to start putting this card together. So I use a liquid adhesive, and I use a light hand on it. Don't want it squishing all over. Although liquid adhesive, as you will see, if you're quick, you can wipe it up because I do make a mistake. And then here I notice I still have that low tack tape on there, so I'm quickly removing that because I don't want that to be seen. But I'm going to finish up putting my adhesive on here, and I'm trying to stay away from the edges of everything and just put enough on there. Thankfully, that heart, you can put quite a bit of glue on there, so it helps hold it into place. Liquid adhesive does take a little bit more time to dry, but I find you have a little bit of wiggle room in there with other adhesives. Once it's stuck, it's stuck. And you will see it's a little fiddly here, and I have to work to get it on there just so. That's why I'm starting from the top, laying that top down, getting it all nice in place, and then I'm just going to lay it down all at one time so that glue is not going everywhere. And if it does, you can just use something dry, a dry paper towel, a dry microfiber cloth. Make sure the microfiber cloth is clean, and just wipe up really quick those little spots that kind of oozed out. In the finished product, you can't see that at all. Put something heavy on it. I use my acrylic blocks for this. They are nice and gooey with glue. They need to be cleaned in a bad way. I do use acrylic blocks very rarely, but I do use them for stamping, but I only use my small ones. So my big ones are used for this. So we're going to put those aside while that's drying. Just going to cut out my get well soon. I'm not using the shadow part. I'm just going to cut the get well soon out of some silver metallic cardstock. I am a lover of word dies. Can't have too many of them. Love having a great stash of them. And I find this get well soon one I love the font on it. It just kind of brightens your day instead of being so serious. Sometimes Get Well can be so serious, and I love that this card is bright and cheerful and hopefully brings a smile to the recipient's day, because obviously they're not having a great one. So once I get this die cut out, I am going to reach for my Teflon pencil pen bone folder from Kat Scrappiness. I'm going to use it instead of my craft pick to pick out those little fiddly pieces that get left in the E's and the L's. And I'm going to do this and use this bone folder because it doesn't leave little scrape marks on the metallic cardstock. And believe it or not, it is pointy enough to pop out all those little pieces. You can see how well they popped out, and I had no little scratches from my craft pick. Love it. So here I'm using my tweezers. I'm using it to hold my little sentiment here, and I use it for this a lot. And I'm going to glue that on top of another I've cut Get Well Soon out of 2 other pieces of scratch white cardstock, layered those up, going to layer this one on top of that. Going to work at getting all of the little letters into place. But the reverse tweezers helps me not to get glue all over my hand. I can do that all by myself without trying to hold a sentiment and put glue on it. So the tweezers just helps me have a little less glue on my fingers. So I put something heavy on that, and we're going to let that dry. And now we are going to start assembling. So we do not want that adhesive on the back of that panel to show through. So we're going to put the extra piece we cut on there. And I need to remove this little bit of low tack tape that was left on from when I die cut. Sometimes you can hide that, but for this one, the way it has to be put on the card, you can see it. So we want to make sure we get that removed. And again, we're going to use liquid adhesive. This time I'm going to put the liquid adhesive right on the acetate though, because it just allows for less glue seeping through where it shouldn't be. So just going to go around the edges in the heart and very lightly on my Sunburst. And then you're going to see I'm going to take this other piece and we're just going to put it in place. Make sure you put it the right way. I almost put it the wrong way. So make sure everything's going the right way. So you could finish this card several ways. I'm putting a note card in. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you could cut 4 of these. Ink blend 1 and then sandwich that acetate between 2 like I'm doing here. And then do the same thing for the back and have all the sun rays be in the same spot, and you can see all the way through. However, that doesn't leave a lot of room for a little note. You'd basically be able to put love and your name on that little heart. So I tend to write a little bit more in my cards, and especially a Get Well card, I want to make sure I'm sending a nice cheerful message. So I'm putting a note card in mine. You still see through the front, and there's still acetate around the edge. So I have cut this piece of note card down, and all it is a top folding card base that I've trimmed off this sides and the bottom to fit this little area perfectly. It is just going to hide those rays. So I'm going to glue this in place, and the way I'm going to do that is I put glue on it, and then I'm going to put it right over that opening and then put that back panel down. And again, put something heavy on it so it can start to at least set up. And then I do have a panel to hide that adhesive as well. So a see-through card, you do sandwich that acetate with many layers of cardstock. So it is very thick and it is very sturdy, but beautiful in the end. So we're going to set this aside for right now. And I'm going to show you real quick what I did with my little pieces that we had left over. These are those little negative pieces that you would use for an inlay technique, and that's exactly what I done. I took my backdrop die, I ran it through with some glitter cardstock that we have in the shop from Memory Box, and ran it through, layered that up, and then inlaid those sweet little sun rays. And I'm leaving my card just like this. I have a clear DVD box that I put all my extra word dies, sentiment strips, whatever, and I have blank cards like this that I can just reach for really quick and add whatever sentiment is needed. It makes it super quick and super convenient just to have that on hand. And so we're going to put that away, and I always try to put all of my dies away so I don't lose them. And in the back of my little die pocket here, I'm putting all of those little pieces to the rays. I have the ones I ink blended, and then I also have the glitter ones in there. You never know, might need to use them. They might just sit there forever, but they're there. When you pull that set out, they're there for you to at least consider, hey, I already have this done. So next we're going to hide that adhesive from the back of our note card, and this time again I'm going to just take the adhesive and put right on the acetate, and just that little piece fits right over it perfectly and fits just perfect, and put something heavy on it. So what takes the longest about a see-through card is the drying time between each layer, because you want everything to be well set, because that surface is slick, so it takes just a little bit longer for it to set. Next we need to take and put our Get Well Soon sentiment on the front. I chose to put it on the heart just because it's easy to hide that adhesive. So I'm just putting adhesive right on those letters that are going to be over that heart. Liquid adhesive is very strong. Once it's set, that sentiment's not going to fall off, even in the mail, excuse me. So I'm just getting that where I need it to go here, and going to set something heavy on that while I get my embellishments ready. So I am grabbing the small embellishment funnel tray from the Kat Scrappiness shop, as well as our Sparkling Snow Pearl Mix. This tray is a little bigger than our triangle embellishment trays, and I'm going to be picking through here for different sizes. So I like that it's a little bigger, and I can really spread out those pearls and see which ones I need. I'm putting 3 pearls on every other sun ray using some liquid adhesive, except around the sentiment where it is just too small. You can see here I'm tucking one up next to the G. I'm going to finish this last little one. Once I know where the embellishments are going to go, I just put my 3 little dots down, grab my pearls in the 2 different sizes that I'm using. Again, picking through, finding what I need. The tray has plenty of room to be able to flip the pearls over for the most part as well. So it just makes the whole part of sorting through embellishments a little easier to have something this big. And I love that it funnels so easily back into the little pouch that the pearl mix comes in. I keep all my pearl mix on a cable O-ring, and so I want it to go right back into that packaging. And if you see, I like that the lid screws on and off, so no chance of them slipping out of the end, and it's perfect size for our little pouches. Goes right back in. I'm going to put that back on my O-ring, and I'm good to go. So just make sure you always put that little cap back on your little tray. So we are now done with our card, and we have this beautiful see-through card, which when you open it, it is a real stunner. Even though we have that large note card in there to be able to write in, the front of that is just beautiful. And so you can really see the see-through effect right there. So we have this, and then we also have that blank card that we finished with that inlaid technique, that one that is ready for any sentiment we put on. I hope you enjoyed this see-through card today. I hope you love Kat Scrappiness products as much as I do, and you check out our shop for some I used today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. We sure appreciate it. Bye.